Hello everybody, Mike from the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast here, and I am back with another edition of Front Row, these live music performance, reaction, analysis videos, and I am back in the wonderful world of Elvis Presley, and I'm looking at a 1973 live performance from Honolulu of I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry. I assume that this is a cover of the Hank Williams song, but I guess I'll find out very soon. A quick reminder that I do pause these videos, I do talk over them. If that bothers you, you have been warned. That is how I choose to do these. This is how I consume and react, and I would strongly advise you to go back and watch this performance in its entirety before you see me completely butcher it by talking all over it. I would also ask you to check out the audio podcast, The Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike, which shares this YouTube channel where my wife and I go back and rewatch some of our favourite cult TV and film franchises, as well as the other film, TV, music, and general pop culture goodness that shares this channel. Last but not least, likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. The more subscriptions I get, the higher the profile of the channel, the more people watch, the more conversation that happens, and the more motivation there is to do these. So, if you haven't watched my channel before, I am an Elvis novice, and I'm seeing these performances for the first time. So these are pure, honest, first-time reactions. Let's see what I think of I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry. Aloha from Hawaii, live in Honolulu, 1973. Let's watch some Elvis.
Hear that lonesome whippoorwill. He sounds too blue to fly. The midnight train is whining low. I'm so lonesome I could cry.
Oh, love that twang, that kind of Telecaster twang at the intro, and the way that Elvis hits that low note and he looks over and he's like, oh, nasty. But at the same time, of course, you know, the song itself, I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, I mean, this is the man who brought us, you know, Heartbreak Hotel, that wonderful, echoey celebration of solitude, you know, that great feeling of being in a space on your own. And one of the things that I think Elvis does so tremendously well is capture heartache and loneliness, but in a way that people can relate to. So it creates this tremendously appealing idea of us all being alone together. And I think that from my interactions with Elvis fans, consciously or not, that has to be some of the appeal, that we all feel this. So why don't we feel it together, and then we're not alone. You can see Elvis's sense of humor here as well, and I love that. I'm going to go back to the beginning because I can already tell I'm going to like this. I love it when Elvis gets to those kind of country, those Appalachian roots, but does it with emotion, but a little bit of twang and a little bit of mischief. And I'm seeing that all here in this performance. So I'm going to like this one, I can tell, so I'm going to go back and watch it from the beginning.
Hear that
Twang, Telecaster.
Somewhere he sounds too blue to fly.
Tremolo.
The midnight train is whining low. I'm so lonesome I could cry. Did you ever see?
Sorry for pausing again. I will go back. This is another example of that symbiotic, shamanistic power of manifestation and collaborative energy that I've talked about with Elvis before. Like, you see him, and this is him feeding the band feeding him feeding the audience feeding him and the band, and them just building and building and building and creating and manifesting this thing that didn't exist that now exists. You know, Bruce Springsteen talks about it being like a magic trick, you know, an act of conjuring. That's why I say it's like shamanistic behavior. And here is a great example, and I'll go through it, because what we see here is Elvis is singing. I'll take you through it, and let me show you my thinking. So he's singing, and he gives, I think, his guitarist a look, as if to cue, hey, I want you to, play it dirty here. He does that. Then Elvis reacts, and then the audience reacts to Elvis's reaction, and that feeds back in, and you get this great thing happen, this manifestation. Just watch this. Here we go. Looks.
Did you ever see
Guitarist answers him. Elvis. Audience.
leaves began to die? That means he's lost the will to live. I'm so lonesome I could cry. The silence of a falling star lights up a purple sky. And as I wonder where
Concentration.
I'm so lonesome I could cry. I'm so lonesome I could cry.
Wow. There's so much good stuff here. You've got the male choir element to it. If you compare this to Heartbreak Hotel, for example, and Heartbreak Hotel, very much because of the way that it was recorded and the echo and the kind of, like I've said, I get a mental picture of somebody alone in a really big empty space, just reflecting on how empty that room is, and how alone they are. And you hear that in the way that the song's produced. And here, this is like that. You've got that extreme loneliness and the meditative rock bottom sound of it. But at the same time, this is Elvis Presley. So you've also got this extremely sophisticated arrangement and production value, as well as the kind of raw, on the edge danger in his voice. One of the things that I love about Elvis is it does often sound like the train could go off the tracks. It's not like singers, I'm not going to name names, but a lot of modern technical singers where they're going to hit the note. They're very well trained and it's very slick, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's incredible in its own right. But with Elvis, there is always this feeling that he's kind of hanging it out in the wind, and there's risk. There's a sense of risk to what he's doing. But of course, there's just the raw talent as well. And that combination really humanizes it. And I think that this idea of loneliness, it's a little bit like when you're a kid and you're scared of like the monster in your room. So you flick the lights on. Your parents flick the lights on so you can see there's nothing to be scared of. And this idea of this communal experience of loneliness kind of switches the lights on and defangs it and makes you realize that you're not alone and that it isn't scary. And that's a tremendously powerful thing, but sort of implicit in the performance. But yeah, what an incredible song, and what a great interpretation. One of the all-time great songs performed by, it's an understatement to say one of the all-time great performers. So of course it's wonderful. I want to just watch this. You know what? If this Aloha from Hawaii concert was shown at the cinema, man, I'd go and see that tomorrow. So yeah, let me know what I should cover next. And I do, as I say, very much appreciate the education from you fine Elvis fans out there. And I love talking to you. So please do leave comments and like and subscribe on the channel and tell me what to cover next. Also, check out the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike audio podcast and all the other film, TV and music and general pop culture goodness that shares this channel. But for now, that's me done.